I remember a time when I thought that sharing my testimony wasn't really worthwhile because I didn't have an interesting story. Normally testimonies that start with, I was born and raised in a Christian home, aren't that eventful. But I'm beginning to believe that one of the most encouraging testimonies you can hear is that I was saved young and the Lord kept me. There were times in my life that I lost sight of who God was and who He was to me, and I replaced Him with worldly pleasures of various wholesome relationships with my brothers, relationships at school, with my closest friends, and I was so immersed in this feeling of love and closeness that I felt with these people that subconsciously these relationships became so necessary to me, and God was kind of put on the back burner. My foundation is God. Well, it was as it was supposed to be. And He started to show me in reality that He was all I needed. One by one, all these relationships that I held so closely were just knocked down. My brothers moved 5,000 kilometers away. I graduated high school. I was immersed into a hectic life where I wasn't surrounded by my Christian school and my Christian friends. And just like that, everything I was holding on to was so painfully taken away from me. And I was left with the line of, God is so distant to me. I don't feel God. Because in reality, there was no way I was about to see the bigger picture. And these feelings were so real to me, and it made me then spiral into these incredible feelings of sadness and loneliness. Everyone around me felt it. I didn't know it then, but my parents spent nights earnestly praying for me. And if it wasn't for their prayers, my testimony definitely wouldn't be what it is now. They were able, one of the biggest blessings in my life is having Christian parents that when I wavered in my faith, they didn't. They were able to look at my life and notice that this struggle was so strongly spiritual, and then they looked at that and diligently prayed for me. I remember having someone tell me to pray to God for Him to give me something that would kind of be something between me and Him. And so I did. And as I was having a terrible night on one of our March break retreats, I looked up on the bunk and someone had scratched, not even written, scratched into the bunk, Psalm 16:11. You make known to me the path of life. In your presence there is fullness of joy. At your right hand there are pleasures forevermore. And just like that kind of became my inside joke with God. I remember being in Sunday school and I learned about the Israelites. They worshiped God, then they disobeyed God, and they worshipped idols, and then they found themselves in absolute turmoil. Then they struggled and they begged God to save them, and then God saves them, and then they worshipped God, and then they disobeyed God. And even 9-year-old me was able to look at that and be like, come on, are you kidding me? Hi, I'm Israelites. I idolized my friends, and it was something I struggled with, and I still was. And then He would knock down these relationships for me, and then I would go back to Him and be like, God, I'm hurting, I'm broken here, and then another friendship would come up, but the thing is, my God is so forgiving, and He's a God that waits for me with open, wide arms, and He knocks down the things that I built up before Him, and He reminds me that even through all that, He is still there for me, because in my lowest points in my walk with Christ, Richard's theme when I was a leader at junior high was Psalm 16:11, and that New Year's, the message he spoke about was on Psalm 16:11. And when we were on the next retreat and Richard was handing out prayer rocks and each one has a different verse, I picked mine up and I quickly turned it to find Psalm 16:11 on that rock. I mess up and I sin, but my God is so much greater than that, and He makes known to me the path of life, and there is fullness of joy in His presence, and by His right hand there are pleasures forevermore.